Welcome to the explainer. You know that feeling, right? You turn the page in your exam, and bam, there it is, a monster 14-mark question staring you down. Well, today we're going to tackle one of those head-on. We are diving deep into a major question on inherited diseases from an AQA GCSE Biology paper, and I'm going to show you exactly how to lock in every single one of those marks. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start by unpacking the question itself. Then we'll dig into the genetics, get into the nitty-gritty of the disease's biology and its treatment. And to finish, we'll pull back the curtain and see what the examiners are really looking for with a question like this. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, let's really look at all the information the examiner gives you before you even write a single word. This stuff isn't just background fluff, you know? It's basically your toolkit for solving the entire problem. So we're handed two key pieces of evidence. Over on the left, we've got a family tree, a pedigree chart that shows us how this condition, MSUD, has been passed down. And on the right, there's a diagram showing the exact biochemical pathway that goes wrong. Both of these are absolutely crucial. Right, let's get down to business with the first couple of questions. This is where we dive straight into the genetics. So the first question is just for 1 mark, but it's asking for proof. We need to use only that family tree to show why the MSUD allele has to be recessive. So where's the evidence? Well, the classic telltale sign of a recessive condition is when you find two parents who are unaffected, but they have a child who is affected. And bingo, look right there on the chart. Individuals 7 and 8 don't have MSUD, but their child, number 12, does. That's our smoking gun. It's the only way this could happen. Now, to make sure you bag that mark, you just have to state that observation clearly. The official mark scheme says you can give a general answer, like unaffected parents have an affected child. But honestly, it's always better to be specific. Pointing out that 7 and 8 have child 12, or even 1 and 2 have child 5 is a guaranteed point. Next up is the big one, the 4-mark Punnett square. To get all 4 marks, you've got to be systematic. So step 1, what are the parents' gametes? We already figured out that parents 7 and 8 must be heterozygous carriers, so they're NN. That means their gametes are N and N. Step 2 is just drawing out the Punnett square. And for step 3, you link the genotypes to what they actually mean. NN and NN mean no MSUD, but NN means the child has it. And that final mark? You just have to state the probability. You can see from the square that only one of the 4 outcomes is NN. So the probability is 1 in 4 or 0.25. Simple as that. But here is a classic trap where so many easy marks are lost. You have to be precise. The mark scheme will take 0.25, a fraction or 25%. But look, it specifically says do not accept 1/4. Why? Because the colon means a ratio, not a probability. It's a tiny detail, but it could cost you a mark. Okay, so we've nailed the genetics part. Now the question takes a bit of a turn. We're shifting away from how the disease is inherited and focusing on the biology of what's actually going wrong inside the body. Question 5.3 is a nice, quick win. It's a straightforward knowledge recall question. Where in the body do these amino acid reactions happen? The answer is the liver. 1 word, 1 mark. Done. Now for a 3-mark explanation. We need to explain why this nasty toxic substance, which they've called P, starts to build up in the blood. For this, we've got to go back to that pathway diagram. So if we look at our pathway diagram, the problem becomes really clear. In MSUD, enzyme 2 just isn't made. Think of it like a roadblock. This enzyme's job is to convert toxic substance P into something harmless. Without it, the pathway is completely blocked. The substance is still being made, but it's got nowhere to go and just starts piling up. So to lock in all 3 marks, you have to tell the full story. First, you point out the obvious. No enzyme 2 means the toxic substance can't be broken down. Second, and this part's really important, you have to say that the substance is still being produced. And finally, you connect it to the blood. This buildup in the cells then diffuses out into the bloodstream. The next question is a logical follow-up. If the substance is in the blood, why does it start showing up in the urine? This one's for 2 marks. This is basically a quick check on how well you know your kidney function. For the first mark, you need to say that the kidneys filter this toxic substance out of the blood. For the second mark, you have to explain that, unlike useful things like glucose, the body does not reabsorb it. It's not taken back into the blood, so it just stays in what will become urine and gets flushed out. All right, we are on the home stretch now, the final part of the question. This is where we link all that biology to a real-world solution for managing the disease. So, the question tells us that a low-protein diet helps. For the last 3 marks, we need to explain the biological reason why this actually works. The key here is to trace it all the way back to the start of that chemical pathway. For the first mark, you make this simple connection. Proteins are made of amino acids. For the second mark, you explain the result. A low-protein diet means you have fewer of those amino acids floating around. And for the final mark, you bring it all home. Less raw material means less of the toxic substance that's produced, preventing that dangerous buildup. It's a perfect chain of logic. So let's just zoom out for a second. We've taken this 14-mark beast apart piece by piece. But what was the examiner really trying to test? Because it's not just one thing, is it? It's a whole range of skills. And this table really shows you the beauty of these long-form questions. They're not just testing if you can remember facts. In this single question, we've had to analyze data from a chart, apply our genetics knowledge, recall a basic fact about the liver, and then explain several complex biological processes, all the way from the gene defect right up to the treatment. When you break a question down like this, you can see exactly how to build a full-mark answer. The real takeaway here isn't just about MSUD. It's about learning to apply this methodical, step-by-step approach to every single big question you face. That right there is the key to mastering the exam.